You know the feeling all too well. A subtle discomfort, an invisible but constant weight. You're always trying to please others, adjusting to their desires and expectations, even when deep down, you know it's taking something away from you. And no matter how much you do, it never seems enough. The more you adapt, the more you lose. What once seemed like a strategy to find acceptance has now become the prison you never asked for, but at the same time, don't know how to escape. It's strange, isn't it? What seemed like your greatest strength, the ability to please, to make others feel good, is now your greatest weakness. What, at first, gave you meaning now only provides a constant sense of emptiness. You live in an emotional paradox. The pursuit of others' validation is pulling you further away from who you really are. You're afraid to show who you truly are, afraid of rejection, so you conform. But the cost is deep. What you think you're doing for love is, in fact, silently eroding your true essence. This is the dilemma of the chronic pleaser. The silent pain of trying to fit into a mold that was never yours. Deep down, the psychology of someone who tries to please everyone is a complex dance of insecurity, fear, and distrust of oneself. To understand this behavior, we need to dive into the emotional and psychological roots of this relentless need for external approval. The first key here is the concept of parentification. When, from an early age, a child is placed in the role of emotionally caring for their parents, they learn to prioritize the needs of others over their own. This behavior of pleasing doesn't come out of nowhere. It's nurtured from childhood. When the child internalizes the idea that love and acceptance are earned through performance, through conformity, the child learns to adapt, to be who others want them to be, even if that means suppressing their own self. This pattern is also connected to hypervigilance. For the child, the need to please is a way to protect themselves from rejection, from losing affection. They are constantly alert, trying to read the environment, looking for the signs of whether or not they will be accepted. Over time, this becomes an automatic mechanism. The person is always on guard, but can never relax. These behaviors are reinforced by an emotional neglect schema. People who have experienced this emotional neglect feel a lack of genuine connection with themselves. And in their quest for external validation, they often feel that they are not enough. Identity fragments. The self-concept becomes a reflection of others' expectations. This constant pursuit of pleasing others reshapes the nervous system and identity, creating a continuous sense of internal discomfort, as if a constant effort is required to maintain a facade that, deep down, never truly reflects who you are. But the cost of this, the existential weight carried by trying to please everyone, goes beyond what can be measured in simple suffering. The real question is, what do you lose in the process? When a person sacrifices themselves continuously to please others, they forget what is essential about themselves. Authenticity, truth, the very essence of being, begins to fade. The German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche spoke of the invisible grief of the soul, that painful process that happens internally but is invisible to the world. For him, the human being who loses themselves trying to please others is distancing themselves from their true nature. And this distancing is a kind of symbolic death, a death of who they are, a death of authenticity. This behavior is driven by a deep and irrational fear, the fear of judgment, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being enough. These fears are not just emotional, they are existential. They shape every decision, every movement. The fear of being judged, of being abandoned, of not being loved enough, begins to interfere even in the simplest moments of daily life. You feel exhausted from pleasing, but at the same time, you feel like you can't stop because, if you do, what will be left of you? And even when the attempt to please others seems successful, it's always empty. What do you gain from it? A fleeting smile, a superficial compliment, but deep down, a constant sense that something is missing, that there is nothing genuine in that connection, and that is unbearable. As the pleaser grows up and becomes an adult, these patterns don't disappear. They evolve and transform, often becoming more sophisticated and harder to identify. But the scars are there, invisible but deep. Can you recognize yourself in this description? These people become adults who feel constantly dissatisfied, no matter the success or affection they receive. What happens when you base your self-esteem on others' approval is that, in the end, it's never enough. There is a constant sense of emptiness. In their relationships, they may have difficulty setting clear boundaries, always prioritizing the needs of others over their own. In their careers, they may find themselves constantly seeking approval, always wanting to be recognized, but never feeling truly fulfilled. When it comes to emotional regulation, the person who tries to please is like a candle burning out, always melting for others but never recharging, never allowing themselves to rest. This is the hallmark of a behavior that isn't part of someone's personality but is a coping mechanism. And the first step to healing is realizing this, observing these patterns rather than identifying with them. And awareness of this is crucial to the unlearning process. So then, what is the path to healing? What can be done when you realize that the constant pursuit of pleasing everyone is really destroying who you are? First, the key is reparenting the inner child. This means starting to care for yourself in the way you always wished you had been cared for, allowing yourself to feel and be authentic without the constant need for approval. Shadow work, as proposed by Carl Jung, is essential in this process. Facing the parts of you that have been repressed, that have been silenced in the name of others' pleasure, and integrating them back into your being. Additionally, it's essential to learn nervous system regulation. Those automatic reactions of hypervigilance can be softened through mindfulness and breathing techniques, helping the person reconnect with their body and emotions in a healthy and balanced way. And perhaps most importantly, choosing kindness instead of survival mode. Choosing to be kind to yourself rather than constantly sacrificing yourself for others is the first step to breaking free from the prison of external approval. As Nietzsche reminds us, he who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you. Healing is not about being fixed, but about becoming whole. It's not about pleasing everyone, but about being true to yourself. I know this path is not easy, but you can start now. It's time to stop pleasing others and start pleasing yourself. You deserve that. If this video resonated with you, share it. Someone close to you might need to hear these words.